And we're live again. This is the third session that's called In Conversation with Entrepreneurs in Azerbaijan. So this session is part of our Creative Spark higher education program. And the aim is to introduce you, our lovely audience, to some entrepreneurs in Azerbaijan. So today on the screen, we have Fidan Javadova, who is, the owner and founder of an engineering startup in the UK. We have Ayan Aliyeva, the owner and CEO of A-Level Education Group, which is an education services provider. And finally, our guest speaker, Her Majesty's Ambassador to Azerbaijan, Mr. James Sharp, joining us for the second time, actually. James, I hope we do more of these in the future as well, and always happy to have you. And I will give each of our speakers just one sentence to introduce themselves and their business. And Mr. Ambassador, perhaps you could share something about the UK's view of the development of business in Azerbaijan and what is the future for it. So, Ayan, do you want to start?
Yes, sure. Thank you very much for this great opportunity. Thanks to British Council, thanks to UK Education. Thank you, Your Excellency, Mr. Ambassador, for having us and moderating this. My name is Ayan Aliyeva, and I am a founder of A-Level Education Group. As many of you know, A-Level is an educational program belongs to high school programs in UK. And when I started my company back in 2012, I had a very close ties with UK, and I really wanted to bring, and I'll be specific, I'll talk about it later on. So I wanted to fill the gap our high school students have between the British high system, so that our students could be able to be directly progressed to their first year of university. And I'll be more specific later on about it. So A-Level was born just by the model of UK education.
Fidan?
Hi, everyone. First of all, I'd like to say how fascinating it is to be a part of this session and hear such wonderful success stories from our local entrepreneurs. My name is Fidan. I'm the founder and CEO of an engineering startup, BeWorks Automation. Actually, I incorporated the company not long time ago, back in March this year, and obviously this was during the times when the situation in the UK and Europe was getting a bit critical and a bit uncertain for all businesses. And I'll collaborate a little bit more on the company in a couple of minutes. Thank you.
Perfect. Mr. Ambassador, an opening word to you before we begin the session with Ayan's and Fidan's presentations.
Well, thank you, Ayna. I'm not an entrepreneur. I'm a government bureaucrat, and I've been a bureaucrat for 30 years, so I'm about the last person you want to listen to if it's about starting up a business. But this is your chance, the audience's chance, to speak to some real life entrepreneurs. I mean, you can go to lectures and you read books and all that sort of boring academic stuff, but I think you learn most from actually talking to the people that have been there and done it, and they've been through everything. So it's your chance to really gain some knowledge from Fidan and from Ayan. Now, for me, I would just say, when Ayan said this is my second time on this, I wasn't invited back last time. It was me that said, can I come back, please? Because I wanted the chance to meet Ayan, who I think follows me on Twitter, if I'm not mistaken, but also especially the chance to meet again Fidan, who we last met on the 1st of March on St. David's Day, because Fidan was at a Welsh university. But also, as I'm not quite sure she said, she's in an almost unique position of having got, I think, an innovator visa from the United Kingdom government to actually set up an operation in Britain. Now, Ayna, you were sort of saying, can I talk a little bit about the economy in Azerbaijan and the importance of entrepreneurship? Of course, both of our speakers today have set up their businesses overseas in America and the United Kingdom, but which is one option, and I think it's the United Kingdom is a very, very good place. Fidan knows this better than me, but I think London is the startup capital of Europe and one of the fintech capitals of the world, and there's about 120,000 software and programming startups set up last year. So a huge amount of this sort of stuff goes on in the UK and in particularly in London. So it's a very, very good centre for that. But yes, the longer term aim of the whole Creative Spark programme, which is a British Council programme to sort of develop creative skills and business skills in universities and students here, is to support the development of the Azerbaijani economy, because things like this, translating ideas into business success is actually critical, and the development of the small and medium enterprise sector is also critical for any long-term economic development, especially in a country that wants to develop beyond the oil and gas sector. So these sorts of people are very, very important, and what all the audience will be very, very important to the long-term future of this country. Hopefully, if you stay in the country.
And before I let our wonderful speakers begin today, let me just mention one thing. So before every session like this one, we do a little bit of a tech warm-up. And as a tradition now, both entrepreneurs on your screen have actually graduated from the UK universities. So they're UK alumni. And this time, they're actually both alumni of the universities in Wales. So, it's a great representation here today. I think it's absolutely wonderful. And, it just speaks to the diversity and to the multitude of different people, young people from Azerbaijan who graduate from the universities in the UK and come back to share their tips and experience with young prospective entrepreneurs and young students. Okay, thank you. In that case, Ayan, I'm giving the floor to you. I will hide all of us in a second, and I will please ask you to share your presentation with us.
Right. Okay. So first of all, before I even start my presentation, and my presentation wouldn't be an ordinary presentation, I just want to kind of spot out from here and there and explain how what is business and what is entrepreneurial life. It's not only earning money, it's also losing money, and it's a lot of hassle on the way. So everybody wants to be entrepreneur. Some people want to be entrepreneur and don't want to work 9-to-5 work, but being an entrepreneur is a huge responsibility because you have to be on the board 24/7. But before I even start my presentation, I would like to mention that I owe my success to University of Bangor, because I had my company, I created my company long ago, but the breaking point started when I joined Bangor University. And I joined it not because I wanted to apply there, and I joined there not just because a new stage in my life started. I started getting special needs kids with autism in my language school, and I understood that if I do not get the special training, I wouldn't be able to accommodate their needs. So this is how I jumped and joined Bangor University Education School. I'm also, and I encourage everyone, all graduates from UK, to join Alumni Award, because I'm also a winner of Alumni Award 2019, and I was globally shortlisted, nominated for the Global Alumni Award. Why UK University? So let me tell my story from the very beginning. I'm now doing my 5th and 6th education, so I'm just a bookworm at the same time being an entrepreneur. I'm doing my PhD in the United States. My first bachelor degree was from United States, and I'm kind of switching. It's a degree from US, a degree from UK, a degree from US, and a degree from UK. But again, I'm very grateful to Bangor University, to UK University, because just after I graduated that university, my company started escalating and growing, and I grew my company from 1 office to 6 offices in Baku. So basically, I have got 6 language schools, tutorial colleges in Baku, Azerbaijan. I have got my school in Tbilisi, Georgia, a rep office in Oman, Muscat, and Almaty, Kazakhstan. I registered company in the United States. And this is all because of the skills I got from Bangor University. I don't possess a master's or MBA in business. I'm an educator, and I have been educator, and all degrees I have are connected with education. But what I love about UK universities and the way they feed you there and the way they train you there is the skills, the soft skills, and the understanding and the deep understanding, the critical thinking, the planning, the discipline they teach you there. I wouldn't say that other educations of mine didn't help me, but again, I would say that this was the breaking point for me, and I'm super grateful for Bangor University, especially to Wales. This was just amazing. So I'm sharing my screen now to show. Just trying.
It should appear in a second.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to. Well, I'm sorry. Yeah. Is it on? Is it on, Einar?
I will add it in a second. You can continue with your presentation so
right.
that
Yeah, I'm sorry.
engage our audience, and I will add it in a second.
So here are I would just explain what it says. So A-level education group is a big umbrella under which I developed other companies, which I'm taking pride of. It's A-level Inclusive Generation Club, Foundation Program, Dutch Colleague Istituto Classico Italiano, and there are 2 more companies added up on this. I would like to talk about the particular program today, which is Foundation Program, which is last 2 years of education in the United Kingdom. As you all know, and this has always been a problem for Azerbaijani students, high school students. So our high school is 11 years, and the high school in the United Kingdom is 12 and 13 years, depending when students started their education. So our students eager to study abroad, eager to study in UK, always lack this year of education. In the best case scenario, mostly 2 years of education. There are very few private schools offering A-level or foundation course, and I'm very, again, grateful to UK educational system, which created this foundation course equal to NQF level 3, higher national level qualification 3 to A level for international students. So basically, this foundation course progresses you directly to British universities. And now I can proudly say that this course is delivered in Azerbaijan. You can join this course consequently with your 10th, 11th year. We deliver it with Brookhouse College. It is a great college in Market Harbour. Many people don't know where that is, but it's only an hour away from London. And this foundation course allows you to finish your high school in Azerbaijan and go directly to the first year of British universities. And I'm going to share more now. So the foundation program basically can take you to any top university except for, of course, Oxford universities, and especially Cambridge and Oxford, because they require A-level in particular. But any other universities, like we had success stories with Exeter universities, Leicester, Sussex, Essex University, everything like this. So I also wanted to talk a little bit about business in Azerbaijan, and how a young entrepreneur coming from, let's say, UK universities can just start their own business. Even if a student graduated from Azerbaijan. So what is a business? What is entrepreneur? What is being an entrepreneur, and what to start from? Many people just jump into it not thinking. My first advice to those young people would be make market research. It's very important when you understand it. You are making a market research and you are searching. Another thing is you clearly have to understand what you are doing and what you are for, and in general, if the business you are starting is in need at this particular moment. And there is an interesting theory I created, actually. I don't know if it exists anywhere else, but I came up and I'm actually lecturing on that. I don't know if Einar, you can just put us all together, because there would be a little bit of quiz and I wanted to ask questions.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yes, a little bit of interaction. I don't like to talk alone. I like when everyone is engaged. Yeah. So the theory is when we are entrepreneurs, you know, what is GPA? Everybody knows what is GPA.
Great placement average, I believe.
Yeah. Grade point average.
Ah, all right.
GPA, grade point average in education. But it's not only. It's goal, plan, and action. So my theory as an entrepreneur, I kind of, because everybody knows what is GPA, and I was thinking how to put it and how to lecture my students and how to lecture when I'm traveling all over the world and understand and explain what is the entrepreneur, what is success, what is the success story. So basically, my theory comes from GPA, goal, plan, and action. Many people would ask, why don't you include dream? Because I don't include dream. Dream is just dream. Everybody dreams. We dream every day about many different things, but unless you break it down and set it as a goal and get your first G, the goal, then you start doing your market research, you plan, you put it down, and then you just turn it to the action. Again, to all entrepreneurs, many people would say it's easy, and I'm sure you know the statistics. The startups, according to the survey, 80% of most of the startups fail the first year, and it's just because the planning is not on its place. Me, myself, coming this way, I actually made a lot of mistakes in business. And if I turned back 15 years ago, I would avoid many mistakes if I had this knowledge. Many books are written about business. Many MBAs are taught about business. But each specific business would have its absolute uniqueness. And if you are into your business, if you want to start your business, you have to really touch the ground, and you have to really understand what you want to do. So for example, for me, another thing I have to mention is passion. If you are passionate about your business, you would do your best, because the failure wouldn't be a failure for you. A failure would be another lesson for you, right? A mistake you made would be just another teacher for you. So my passion is education. I do not consider myself a businesswoman at the first place or entrepreneur at the first. I consider myself a teacher. I am an educator. I love teaching. And that's why I wanted to create something and to share my knowledge with Azerbaijani students and then with the students all over the world. So again, it's goal, your dream, your passion, then it's goal and planning, market research. And then I would like to share a little bit of more interesting things I consider would help any entrepreneur. Can you see this?
Can I ask you a question, like a short follow-up question? Sure. When you say planning, right? Let's say I don't know anything about opening a business in Azerbaijan, or even about opening a business in general from any kind of point of view. So let's say you have an idea in mind or a goal to achieve something or to attract a specific group of people as customers, right? What do you do? What do you start with? Like, do you, what I mean to say, do you hire someone to, let's say, do the planning for you? Do you do the planning yourself? What kind of planning are you doing? What do you need to know to basically start up?
All right, a very good question, and that was actually what I was going to say. First of all, Einar, you need to find a need. The most important thing, you have to find a niche and a need. And you might be sure that the product already exists in the market and the competition is going to be there. It shouldn't freak you out. You shouldn't be scared of competition. You should take it into consideration, but you shouldn't be scared. Of course, if you do not have the skills of planning, the skills of market research, the skills of just finding out the niche and how you're going to implement it in the market, you hire a person. You hire a professional, you hire a specialist. If you are a startup or a young entrepreneur and you are into the thing you are doing, you have to start doing the market research. For example, I would take my niche, right, as an example. Education. We know that today in Azerbaijan there are around 500 language schools. Can you imagine? 500 language schools, tutorial colleges, and I'm including every small one in that number as well. So what I would do if I'm Ayan 15 years ago, with my today's current mind, I would go and knock the doors of at least 25% of all the market, going from the biggest to the smallest. This would be my market research, learning the prices, learning the demand, learning the requirements, learning what those schools are doing and how they are selling. Because at the beginning, when you're a young entrepreneur, you have to be all these specialists together in one, right? Once, unless you have got some startup money allocated, if you don't, you will have to face this all. And I actually started doing all this plus teaching myself. When I started my company, I was a teacher and I had to pay the rent, I had to pay the accountant, I had to, you have to do it all together. But now business works and, there are so many resources in YouTube on how to build business. Again, they would not help you 100%, but they would give you the idea of how business is built. So the answer to your question is find a niche, do a market research, and if you cannot put the business plan together, because there is no sense of starting that business plan. You have to hire a person to start that business.
Right. It's interesting. Some of my friends, including those who graduated from the UK and also prospective entrepreneurs, they are always put off from starting some kind of business based on the idea they have, because they say, oh, somebody else is already doing that. And what I always say to them, that's actually a good thing, because if somebody else is doing that, that means there is a market for it, right? If nobody else is doing what you want to start, then how can you be sure that the customers will come to you and buy the stuff that you want to sell, essentially?
Yeah, this is number one mistake again, and this comes from the fear people are thinking. If what they are thinking, their concept is correct, then we wouldn't have let's say Mercedes because we have BMW, we wouldn't have Nissan because we have Honda, etc. There are like so many examples I can bring on this. There is a demand. We all know that. Let's take Azerbaijani market, right? Parents are investing in their children's education, and they would invest depending on their income level. So some students would go to local university, some students would go and study in the UK, some students would go and study in the US, and you find your niche. So if you cannot send students to UK, you can tutor your students for local exams, and there is always niche. And again, come on, can you allocate in your language school, regardless of how big it is, the entire market? Of course not. We need competition. Competition is great. Healthy competition is something bringing up the world economy. I'm not talking about country. I'm talking about world economy up. So I'll just give a little bit of more tips, and I'll share my screen.
Sure.
This is what I think young entrepreneurs should pay attention at. Can you see it?
Not yet,
yes.
But it will be on in a second. Sorry, I can't see it. Can you click on that app?
All right. Yeah. So again, if you want to start a business and you want to become successful, so success doesn't come overnight. Please understand that. Being an entrepreneur, it's always measuring your success with the risks. But once you are successful, once you become successful, you have to turn back and understand that successful people are successful because they fall in love with what they do, or they do only which they love. So this point is absolutely important to understand, because if you do not love what you're doing, if you are doing it just for the sake of money, just for the sake of fame, just for the sake of success, you're not going to be successful. You're not going to be fulfilled, and you wouldn't have that mindset of entrepreneurs to move forward, because entrepreneurs and people in business, they keep finding and losing. So we have to agree with that tradition as well. Another thing I want to share is, if you are already in the middle of your company, you have to make sure that first 10 years of your work is a journey to find people to work with for the next 50 years. Maybe this is a little bit of exaggeration. Maybe this is a little bit of what the person drawing this cartoon was exaggerating. But team and recognition the talents of people, recognition the talents of your team is number one priority and prerequisite of your success. So this is what we have to understand. This is what we have to really pay attention at. Your stuff is 50% of your success, if not more, on the top of your compassion, on the top of your passion, on the top of everything. So my GPA, I wouldn't be long, I can talk about it. And my GPA theory, which is goal, plan, and action, works just like I described. So number one, what we have to do is we have to find a need and then be good at what we do and then have a passion for what we do. All the rest, and of course, fear not, all the rest would come and would be applied to your company. I'm happy to answer any questions. I like to be interactive and just, keep it
I have a very quick question. We have a couple of questions in the comments, but I have a very quick question. You're female, right? And we always talk about sort of the gender balance and males versus females in the business in Azerbaijan. And obviously, I think it's changing now, but probably male entrepreneurs are probably a little bit overrepresented, right? So did you find any challenges about building a business first in Azerbaijan and then abroad, specifically as a female, or no?
Okay, of course I did. And thank you very much for raising this question. This is something we really need to speak out. I'm also an ambassador of women empowerment, and starting a business in Azerbaijan, because my headquarters are still in Azerbaijan, I faced a lot of challenges, and I still keep facing a lot of challenges. First of all, as you mentioned, they are overrepresented. And second, I would bring you an example from my own business. For example, a parent or parents come to my office and say, my son, my daughter want to study in UK. You do a match up for them, which takes at least 3 days. You work precisely, you find universities, you consult them over and over again. Then finally they choose 5 universities and you start applying to UCAS for your student. Right? If anybody doesn't know what UCAS is, it is a unique program, a unique platform in UK to apply for universities. And then his father goes to this VIP networking party, and he meets my competitor there. And competitor says, "Come on, seriously, what are you doing? The universities you chose, I don't think you just have to go to that university." And because the businessman, the person, the government official is not into that, they come and say to their wife, "Well, why are we doing it through Ayan?" For example, someone offered other universities, and they bring exactly the same level, exactly the same ranking universities, but they should be just 5 different universities. This is unhealthy competition, and this is just one of the points I can bring you on the table. I face discrimination in it, not only challenges, but a real discrimination being a woman entrepreneur. But again, another thing I advise and I highly recommend to all entrepreneurs regarding women entrepreneurs: never give up. It is important to just be persistent in what you are doing and never give up. And in this particular situation, of course, it takes me a couple of days to persuade and re-persuade. But yeah, this is how it happens.
Thank you, Ayan. I want to, before we move on, let me just get back to Mahira and Tohrul in our chat, who are saying the voices are echoing a little bit. I think I tried to fix it. I hope it's a little bit better now. Mr. Ambassador, do you have a question for Ayan? And Fidan, maybe you have a question so that we can continue the conversation.
I don't really have a question. I was just really warming to Ayan because my brother also went to Bangor University in North Wales, but he actually didn't go there for the education experience. He went there because it was very close to the cliffs of Anglesey. He was a rock climber, so he enjoyed himself very much at university. But then I turned away from you, Ayan, when you started talking about GPA, because it's a very American thing. As you know, we don't have that in Britain. So you've been too Americanized for my liking. But anyhow, welcome back to the Britosphere, if you like. It's very nice that you could take part in this British broadcast. But thank you very much. I think the points you make about you need both the motivation, which a lot of people have. People have a dream or a goal, but it's the dedication that really sees you through all of the hurdles, through the setbacks, and sort of seeing that things not as a setback, but as an opportunity to learn. But it can be quite a tough road that you tread, but I think very, very worthwhile if you make it.
Right. I do have one more question from you. It's from the comments. I found it very interesting. And I'm actually going to ask both Fidan and Ayan this one. So what are the three main things for young entrepreneurs to avoid at the beginning? Just three.
All right. So first of all, what young entrepreneurs should avoid is advisors. Choose one mentor, one coach, one person you stick to who is really professional or has experience in it, and listen to one person. Because once you start your business, there are so many advisors, and most of them are just kitchen advisors, I call them. So avoid advisors. Stick to one mentor, one coach who is professional in the field, in the niche you are you are trying to start your business. Second, avoid relying on your knowledge. You came from British university, from American university. Everything you were taught, you try to implement. Do not stop learning and studying, because this is a fast changing world. And what you need to avoid is relying on your knowledge, because you need to constantly update your knowledge, especially if you are trying to start in something particular. And number three, which is also very important, try to avoid the fear of tax paying. Maybe this is the question I shouldn't raise here, but many people, especially in Azerbaijan, said, if I start my company, I have to pay taxes. Yeah, people pay taxes all over the world, and it's good. And what I would say, for example, I have got my company in Azerbaijan, and because I'm working transparently, government, it wasn't a big of help, but during this pandemic, they helped. They allocated some amount to support as a stimulus to the economy. So when you start your business, avoid going to black side of economy. Try to be as transparent as you can.
Amazing. I love that. Yeah. Tax avoidance is a big topic, I think, in Azerbaijan. Well, it's actually a big topic worldwide, and
everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, in my opinion, actually, I definitely think that what Ayan mentioned is quite important. All of her three main points. But also, for young entrepreneurs, it's quite important to constantly test their assumptions and test their business model, because some entrepreneurs think that, oh, that's actually I've got this idea, it's pretty great, and everyone's going to like it. But this is actually the wrong way of seeing things, because what they must know, they need to go out and speak to people and basically understand what others want and what the customer needs. And only then they create a solution. So that's what they need to actually get constant feedback. So that's quite important, what they need to do. And they shouldn't really avoid actually listening to their customers. So that must be a priority for them. The second thing, they must be, as Ayan mentioned, they must be very passionate. So definitely entrepreneurship is they're going to be ups and downs, definitely not easy. It may sound a straightforward process, but it's not. So people must really focus on the end purpose, so that they must identify the gaps and what they want to solve. And only after that, they must just carry on doing their job with passion. And basically just being flexible and being able to, pivot and persevere whenever necessary. And just being fear-free, really. That's what I think an entrepreneur must have.
Thank you. Mr. Ambassador, any tips for young entrepreneurs to avoid? Maybe
I presume you're joking in asking me that question. I mean, what I'd say, I'll just pick up on what was said. It's looking at it in macroeconomic terms, you've got the supply side and the demand side. And so people come up with an idea, they come up with the supply side solutions, but have they looked at the demand side? I think that was the point certainly Fidan was making about doing your research and making sure there is a demand for what you want. Just because you've got a good idea doesn't mean that anyone else thinks it's a good idea. But equally, as Ayan said, don't be deterred by the fact that that product may be on the market already. I mean, it just shows, as you said, that there is a demand for that. So sometimes you will create a demand with a brand new product, and that's how innovation works. But equally, you may well be sort of just meeting the existing demand, but you need to do that research to establish that demand in the first place.
All right. Okay, Ayan and Mr. Ambassador, I am hiding you for the time being.
I'm going to share my screen now, then.
Yes, Fidan. It's all for you. Let's just wait for 2 seconds until it actually starts displaying, because it doesn't at the moment. But maybe you start, and let's just wait for that. All right?
Yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna. Right. So I just wanted to share a few slides with everyone, and just on what we do and who we are. And basically, if you have any questions, feel free to ask away. So I incorporated an engineering startup. It's called BeWorks Automation. We act as system integrators, and we help industries in the smart energy, oil and gas, water and wastewater, food and beverage, to overcome the challenges of building and maintaining software-driven automation products. And we do this by taking full advantage of Internet of Things. So what we do, we provide bespoke and cutting-edge automation and process control solutions, from problem analysis through to component integration, maintenance, integration, testing, and further enhancements in the UK and worldwide. So we actually see ourselves as a company that is primarily engaged in provision of innovative and intelligent automation and control solutions, and which is also coupled with technology advancements. And we're definitely going to continue providing those customized and custom-focused engineering solutions from initial concept through to implementation, final implementation. And while we provide these services, we will be emphasizing on sustainable growth and energy efficiency. So I just wanted to give a couple of examples on what kind of what we do and what kind of jobs we're actually doing for our clients, because some people really get confused when I tell them that I've got an automation engineering startup. So one of such examples could be maximizing plant gas storage capacity and helping improving efficiency and safety, or it could be improving efficiency of improving production rates within the irrigation system or any plants or factories. Another example could be one of the hot topics today, electrical vehicle chargers. So installing electrical vehicle chargers and also contributing towards EV charging infrastructure. So as you can see here, automation, it's applicable, it can be applied into every sector. And to be honest, both public and private sectors see very big benefits of actually adopting automation into their businesses and processes. As you probably read from my short bio, this is an engineering startup that has been established in the UK. And there are quite a few reasons why I chose specifically UK, and just want to share with you in brief. Firstly, the main reason is the automation market. As you know, in today's business environment, it's hard to imagine the production landscape without automation. The demand for automation will continue to grow due to high expectations for high product quality. And the global automation market today, it has grown to $70.2 billion in actually 2018, and it's anticipated to grow to $112.2 billion by 2026. So this actually presents an opportune time for BeWorks Automation to enter the market. Another reason is my basically education and existing business ties. As Aina mentioned, I am a Cardiff University and King's College London graduate, and as Mr. Sharp mentioned in the previous series, although entrepreneurship is not completely taught at school or in universities, there are definitely some skills beginner entrepreneurs or young entrepreneurs can take away from it. So me personally, I actually developed a number of skills, including teamwork, leadership, while working on a wide range of projects during my academic experience. So that was quite helpful for me. And also, I cultivated a business network that definitely served as a strategic advantage for BeWorks Automation. Basically, in Azerbaijan, I've been contributing towards a number of projects that's for another engineering company. And I think the existence of such business ties definitely puts BeWorks into a great advantage. And the benefits include engineering support during project execution, also connections in the industry through referrals, and most importantly, definitely the basically
Fidan.
Scalability and.
Fidan, sorry to break you off.
Yeah.
Can you share your presentation again? I seem to have lost it, if possible.
Yeah, sure. I'm just going to share it. Okay.
Thank you.
So, yeah, is it working now?
Well, not really, but you just continue and I'll see what I can do. For some reason, I don't see it anymore.
Yeah, okay. It shows on my screen, but anyway, I'll continue. No worries.
Yeah, sure.
So, yeah, and definitely existing business ties as well. So scalability and international trade and revenue boost through these two factors are quite important. And I believe that's going to help BeWorks Automation to expand further and also strengthen the relationships between Azerbaijan and United Kingdom from the economic perspective. Also, low business barriers. As you know, UK is considered to be one of the best places to do business in the UK, in the world. And the barriers and basically are achievable in terms of it's possible to hit those barriers, and they're relatively low. Also, for example, the Organization of Economic Development or Cooperation and Development also ranked UK as the second for market regulation, just after Australia. So these are the main factors, I think, why I decided to incorporate the company in the UK. So I'd like to say a couple of words about the ups and downs of starting up a business. Basically, it may sound as a straightforward process, but it's not. There's no such thing as an overnight success. Only if you try hard and only if you work hard, you are able to move forward and you are able to see the positive upward trajectory over time. So I'm not a stranger to the startup culture in London. I was engaged by a newly formed enterprise to develop an array of innovative projects concerning financial planning and analysis, business planning in London. And I enjoyed the atmosphere where founders and employees worked together in close collaboration without the intermediation of middle management. And this exposure markedly improved my leadership skills, problem solving, analytical skills, and I was playing an important part of shaping the innovation and growth strategies of that enterprise. And this is why I usually define startup based from the book that I really like. And from the Lean Startup book, Eric Rice defines startup as a human institution designed to create new product or service under conditions of extreme uncertainty. So basically, this is what I applied into my business idea, because as an entrepreneur, I had to think of different factors besides the business factor, such as immigration factor, because I was setting up this business abroad. So confronting regulatory, linguistic, and technical challenges has been one of the most demanding parts of the incubation period of my enterprise. So as you may have heard, since April 2019, UK has been trying to attract the best entrepreneurial talent, and by involving the third party called the endorsing body. And the selection process there is quite tough, because the entrepreneur must be able to convince the decision maker that their business idea is viable, scalable, and innovative. So during this process, my business idea was successful enough to be selected by NatWest and Think. So those are they invited me for training, and the program, it was an accelerator program that helped entrepreneurs to start, scale, and succeed further. And I joined the program in summer last year, and it was quite interesting because it helped me further develop my entrepreneurial characteristics and my analytical understanding of local business environment. So, and while I was working on, my value proposition and business idea, it was quite important. Basically, my purpose was to understand what I really want to achieve, and what benefits I can deliver to my customers. So this is it's quite important basically to understand, because for entrepreneurs, if you need to understand what problem or need you're addressing and what jobs you're doing for your customers. Satisfying customer needs allows you to understand the size of the market and also whether it's worth pursuing, and only then you create a solution. And it's important to understand how you can help your customers, because if you're not finding a way to help them, there's no reason for them to buy your product or service. So constantly testing your assumptions and testing your business model, working on your minimum viable product is something that an entrepreneur must take into account. So you may have heard, and also exactly finding those gaps and identifying those gaps and acting on them is quite important. So in the UK, there have been a number of high-profile announcements from the industry and UK government illustrating a push towards low-carbon economy. And so even extra funding has been allocated by UK Transport Secretary, I think in the amount of £2.5 billion, in an effort to provide UK residents with the best electric vehicle infrastructures in the world. And this is what I try to, act on. And I try to. So what we're doing, we're currently working on our minimum viable product, as you can see on the left-hand side. It's an EV electrical vehicle charger, which is designed to be for private use, such as in private garages, and also an EV charger used for public use, designed for public use. And people can use it in parking lots at supermarkets or airports. So identifying those things and identifying demand, the right demand, is quite important in my division. So I'm just quickly going to go through what's our business directions. So we are an engineering company focusing on control systems integration, electrical vehicle infrastructure, and smart microgrids. So as you can see, in the design and upgrade of industrial facilities, we understand that there is an emphasis on manufacturing process, especially on functionality, efficiency, reliability. So this is why it's quite important to, whether you want to remove inefficiencies, manage downtime, improve production rates or safety, control systems integration allows customers to achieve this. And we act as system integrators in simplifying basically our industrial customer client life. And the same with EV charging infrastructure. This is something new, and we're currently working on it. We believe that the future of charging is smart. As you can see, there is the evolution of national charging infrastructure is around the corner. Even in Azerbaijan, there were a couple of car manufacturers who already introduced their new electrical and hybrid vehicles in Baku. So it means that the population is getting ripe for innovation, and we are trying to identify this and move forward with this. And the third one is smart energy microgrids. This is our third direction. So microgrids are they are modern and small-scale versions of the centralized electricity system. And they help industrial customers or any customer, local communities achieve reliability, carbon emission reduction, diversification and cost reduction. And we help those clients assemble and use the process control equipment and assemble those smart energy microgrids. As you can see here, I just included a small, I don't know if you can see it, but it's a diagram with different size, and it shows where microgrids can be applied. So it really helps local communities minimize their electricity costs and diversify their sources and maybe integrate some renewable energy sources instead of the traditional power system. So yeah, and I just want to mention that while I was working on the business idea, I define and I see BeWorks Automation as a B2B business. But hopefully, as we grow our brand image and grow our brand awareness, we will be focusing more on. We will also be focusing on individual users and possibly providing home automation very soon. But our route to market is definitely through. At the moment, it's through developing relationships and tendering for projects with different stakeholders, such as EPC contractors and also original equipment manufacturers. And this all helps us to generate referrals. And also, regular advertisements and occasional articles in industry publications. Also, attendance and participation can also lead to valuable networking and sponsorship opportunities. Our digital marketing strategy, advertising strategy also includes a dynamically user-friendly company website. And I'm going to show, I don't know, I'll try to show it in a minute, because it's currently in progress. And also targeted campaigns on LinkedIn and Facebook. And we will be paying attention to this as well. Search engine optimization and keyword advertising, something that we will be using in order to, drive the company reputation further. So this is how the company basically website looks like. It's if everything goes according to the plan, fingers crossed, we will be launching the website in 2 weeks' time, and it will be there will be some periodic content updates, as well. And in 2 weeks' time, so keep an eye on us, and hopefully up soon. It will be presented in 3 different modes, on this side, laptop and smartphone, and I'm very excited. So let's see how things go. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to tell about the company, and yeah, if you have any questions, anything else, feel free to ask away. And thank you very much for listening. Over to you, Einar.
Thank you, Fidan. Sorry, some of our guests haven't been able to see your presentation, but we can share it later with you under the same pop, so you can check it after the presentation. And we're trying to get Ayan back as well. But meanwhile, I do have some questions for you, and I'm sure Mr. Ambassador has some questions for you. So, how about we start?
Yeah.
Oh, am I starting? I have to say thank you very much, Fidan, for that sort of very high energy promotional video on behalf of the UK government, and actually extolling the United Kingdom as a place to set up your innovative business. Thank you very much indeed for that. You did a much better job than I could have managed. And I think that one of the things I'd say again about London is sort of like a cluster approach. It's not just about the money, but once you sort of develop a cluster of startup businesses, and they kind of feed off each other. You then have the venture capitalists who are prepared to sort of put money into these new businesses. As a lot of talent is attracted to these clusters, and you get advice and just a lot of learning experience as well. So success builds success, I think, in terms of startups. And I think it'd be really interesting to see how you get on in terms of then transferring that knowledge and your experience of working in London back here to Baku to sort of see if you can develop a similar sort of ecosystem, if you like. In terms of e-charging, electric charging points, they are more and more in Baku, of course. And I know the London taxis, I think the Baku municipality have just bought about 100 London taxis. I'm not sure they're on the streets yet, but they soon will be. So again, we're really excited that they've decided to go with the sort of London taxi model for that, and it's a big opportunity, I think, for us again to sort of play out the whole London link, if you like, with Baku and sort of e-business and innovation. But thank you very much indeed. Much appreciated.
Yeah, Azerbaijan indeed. It's actually started in the last couple of months. Baku and Azerbaijan, they've been promoting. The government itself has been like a push towards low carbon economy, and also trying to encourage people switching to electrical cars. But it's like having or buying an electrical car is not enough, because if they're not able to charge their vehicle, there's no point in getting the car itself. So this is why it's just, as you mentioned earlier, it's meeting that supply and demand in the right place. And then, but definitely, there have been some really positive news, from the government as they're trying to promote some innovative approach from other countries or itself, and it's a great thing to see, because people are trying to adapt to those changes and to the changes of digital transformation and Internet of Things. So it's really great to see those changes in Azerbaijan, and I'm pretty sure that some amazing changes in technology and in digital transformations are around the corner in Azerbaijan, and I'm really proud to see those changes in here.
Right, thank you, Fidan. One more question from the audience. Do you think the entrepreneurial skills as such, are you born with them or can you develop them? What do you think?
Usually you set the base, not when you actually, like, some people really want to become, they say, oh, I don't know anything about entrepreneurship, so how am I going to succeed? How am I going to be successful in this sphere or industry? But what you need to do is basically you need to constantly train yourself, or especially during your academic experience. As you can see, during group projects, you see some people are more inclined towards like assigning tasks or just delegating things, or you see that naturally they have good leadership skills. But some people are not good enough in terms of, or they haven't experienced it in many details. But it doesn't mean that they're not able to start up a business, or they don't really, if they have an idea, they shouldn't really feel intimidated of any further competitors. So it's all about finding the right skills, being more of the audience, in front of stakeholders, investors, and it requires constant, repetitive, training. And I personally, I trained myself so many times. Fidan now and Fidan a year back then is a completely different person. Well, I wouldn't say completely, but I've learned and developed myself so much. And I'm still not 100% perfect, and it's not possible for anyone to be perfect in skills. I constantly learn, grow, and this is why during academic experience, I think people must really, try to be engaged into any project or any interactive sessions with their group mates. Apart from that, during your work experience, they can is much different compared to, it's very different compared to the university. They must continue developing themselves, and during their work it's kind of compulsory, because you have to adapt those skills, because that's what your manager or that's what the project requires you to do. So it's much more challenging, but this is how you grow. This is how you can develop further. So definitely, there's always a room for improvement, in my opinion.
I see. And my final question to you, again from the comments, is, it's again about being a female in the business. It's something we asked Ayan before, but like, are there any challenges you think you faced because you're a female and a business owner in the UK or in Azerbaijan? Doesn't matter. And what did you do to overcome these challenges, or any other challenges for that reason?
Yeah, especially the nature of the business as well. Some people really get confused. Oh, automation is more about men work, or people would expect someone. If you deal with clients that are based in industry, like industrial clients, so you probably need to speak to some factories, chemical plants, and it requires a lot of anti-feminine work or whatever. But what I think is what it's to understand the situation. This is how you can succeed, because as much information as you need to get as many information as you can. But in terms of being a director, a female director of a startup, or it doesn't matter if it's in Azerbaijan or India, it depends on your behavior, on your attitude. Obviously, I've heard there are definitely some in terms of salary even, or any other aspects that it can be not completely equal between males and females, but I think that we're getting better in this, and we place there's a priority on skills, on success, achievements. So this is what I need to focus on, and we all need to focus on. And in the UK as well, I'm pretty sure there might be some situations, but as long as it's possible to overcome those obstacles and challenges by just proving them that you are capable of many more things that they expect or they may not expect in business. So nobody should really be intimidated by this, because I to be honest, I don't really think of the female factor when I'm in my business. I always focus on providing high quality service to the clients, and being and acting professionally is possible, and everyone can do it if they want to. So that's what entrepreneurs must pay attention to, I believe.
I see. Thank you, Fidan. Okay, I don't have more questions in the chat. We're trying to get Ayan back. I'm really sorry for the technical difficulty. It seems that she disappeared, and I'm trying to get her back since. Okay, and big thank you to everyone who asked questions in the comments, and everybody who said thank you for the webinar itself. And James, anything to finish off while I'm still trying to get Ayan back?
I think that Fidan and Ayan before her spoke very, very well, and interestingly, I don't have a huge amount more to offer. I'd just say that if you were so sort of keen to travel to the United Kingdom to sort of go and set up a business there, please do. But the visa application centre is not actually open at the moment, but it should open later this month. But please, you're welcome. If you have a startup idea, please come to the United Kingdom and sort of try it out there. But equally, I think it's really great that both of our colleagues are sort of also thinking about the Azerbaijan and the Baku angle as well, because for a country like that, a country like this, it's really, really important. And I think also it's great, talk about the last question was also all about being a woman, being a female in this line of work as entrepreneur, but also Fidan's case in sort of a very technical, science-based area. But I think it's really important that people see role models. We talk a lot about this in the United Kingdom, about making sure you have female role models, and has been a big focus on STEM subjects, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And because again, it's, as Fidan indicated, it's traditionally been a bit of a masculine environment. So there's been a big push in the UK as well to sort of get more females, more girls interested in STEM subjects. So having role models has been a big part of that for the UK. So again, here, the more you can develop that sense of role models and find good role models, here, I think really, really important. So please continue doing work here and keeping your links with Azerbaijan, Fidan and Ayan, if you hear me. Wonderful, thank you so much for your participation and your contribution and your inspirational story as well, and all the best.
Thank you so much for listening, and it was a great conversation. And thanks to Einar for organising it. I'm very pleased to share my stories with interesting people, and I hope that they can take away from this and build successful businesses in the nearest future.
Right. Thank you, Fidan. Okay. Thank you for your final words in this broadcast, James. Thank you, Fidan, for the same. Now, we can't have Ayan back, unfortunately. We had her for the first half of this call. But Ayan, I know you're listening to me, okay? And can you maybe type your question here? Do you have any final words for our audience? And I'll just read them for you. Oh, let's hope she heard that and she can reply.
So Einar, have you got another one coming up next week or a couple of weeks' time? Is this part of an ongoing series? We've had three now.
Yes, it is indeed. We are planning on doing more of these. I'm not sure if we are going to fit into the same slot on Friday next week, but we will be very happy to see everyone again, either next week or the week after. And in fact, we're going to invite Ayan back for just 5 minutes so she can deliver her conclusion. And I just see in the chat to us, she just said she would like to thank everyone for attending, and she very much enjoyed answering your questions today. And she will be back at our next broadcast just to say hi and finish her conclusion to make sure that we get this closure, right? So I would just like to remind everyone that this series is a part of our Creative Spark higher education program aimed at increasing the entrepreneurship skills of the higher education students. And in fact, there will be more announcements from the program other than these sessions. We will run the Big Idea Challenge, the same thing we ran last year, which is a competition aimed at pitching and creating your own business idea to a wide group of people. And then we will have contests involving several partner universities in Azerbaijan. So I want to thank everyone for joining. Big apologies for a little bit of a technical hiccup at the end, but very happy to have Ayan on board, and you, Fidan, and you, Mr. Ambassador. So please join us again. Hopefully next week there will be an announcement on Facebook and Instagram. And thank you for the wonderful session, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you soon. See you soon, Fidan. Hopefully.
See you soon. Hopefully. Bye-bye. Bye.